it's me, Nadia, and welcome to Free My Mojo podcast number 48. And today we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, which is consume only what you need. Now, this is a very simple statement. Consume only what you need. But not being able to do this is such an epidemic in our world that so many people are in debt and so many people are obese and so many people are buried in clutter and mess. Some people are hoarders. And so we are in a culture where consuming is pushed on us all the time, whether it's huge portions of a meal or whether it's buy this thing, it's only 50% off, you should have it. Whether it's get this makeup so everybody wants to have sex with you, or buy this pill so you can take it and be slim again. The bombardment of consume, it's everywhere. And if you want to know how it ends up, if you want to know how the story goes, you only have to look at the circling continents of rubbish and waste that we have in our oceans to know that this does not end well. And it's not even over yet. So we are in a situation where, as a culture, we used consumption to drive the engine of commerce. And what's ended up happening is that we've completely devastated our resources. And I don't know where people thought all this stuff was going to go. But the truth is, no one, I think, really understood what the impact of this was. Or worse yet, they didn't care. I know for myself that there have been times in my life where I didn't feel that good about myself, or I didn't feel that good about my situation. And what I ended up doing was I ended up consuming to try and make things better, to try and feel better, to try and look better, to try and appear better. But the truth was that a lot of those behaviors ended up causing me even more problems in terms of debt and in terms of just not, escaping. Because the bottom line is this: consuming is one thing, but creating is a better thing. If we see ourselves as consumers, what does that mean? We are people who consume. We're people who use things, and then those things are gone. And then there's those who are creating. And in creating, what we're doing is we're contributing. We're making something happen. We're putting something where something wasn't before. So instead of putting my energy in consumption, what I've been doing for the last few years is really focusing my energy in creativity, in problem solving, in creating, in making stuff, in putting stuff where something wasn't before, and in really being much more disciplined, there's a lovely word, in not exhausting my resources over how many pairs of shoes I need or this or that or the other. And I'm not being critical of people who enjoy quality items and people who are in the business of buying and selling things. That is not my intent here. My intent here is, what do you need? I'll agree that you need more than one black dress because you need black dresses for different occasions. Agreed. But the truth of the matter is that as a culture, we are now suffering in many ways, and our planet is suffering in so many ways because we haven't managed this well. So this way is asking you to look at your life and saying, can you look at your consumption in the world, and can you be discerning? Can you look at things and make decisions? Can you make choices? And can you ask yourself, is this something I need? And this could be true of anything. I mean, yes, maybe the wine is fabulous and you have 2 glasses or so, but how many glasses of wine does there need to be? How much do we need? How much do we need huge vehicles that create problems for our planet? So my question to you today is, if you have to look at your life and ask yourself, where am I in my relationship to consumption? Do I feel good about my consumption? Am I someone who is a conscious person who is awake in her decisions and her choices or his choices? And although it may not feel this way, you have the opportunity to make a huge difference in people's lives and in our world. what I want you to do is to really ask yourself, in what way can I repurpose, recycle, or contribute? How can I give more? How can I consume less? How can I create more? How can I consume less? And just think about it. The planet right now is getting densely populated. We have this massive growth in populations around the world. And we're really not going to be able to continue this lifestyle of plastics and packaging and all of the things that are going on. It's just not sustainable. And I hate it that we're creating a problem now for a next generation knowingly. Did our grandparents know that some of the decisions that they were making and things people were doing in the 50s or whenever, did they understand the full impact of this? I'm not sure that they did, but we now know for sure the impact of over-consuming. And I recently directed a documentary called It's Huge, and you can see about it on itshugedoc.com. Itshuge.com is actually a porn site, so don't go there. But itshugedoc.com. And when you go to that site, you'll see the story and you can see the trailer. And it's a film about 5 men who were given all these resources for a year to see if they could lose 100 to 200 pounds. And it's a heartbreaking story in so many ways because it proves how difficult it is to lose weight. And I know how difficult it is to lose weight, but here's something else I know. It's so easy to gain weight. It is so easy to gain weight. It's just phenomenally easy to overeat and overconsume and overdrink. And next thing you know, the jeans are a bit tight or you're having a hard time doing something you used to be able to do easily. It is so much work to have self-control. It is so much work to say, yes, those donuts are delicious, but a box of donuts is probably not a great idea for me. And it slips up on us over the years. It's accumulated. Say you gain 5 pounds a year, 5 pounds a year. Well, over a few years, unfortunately, those 5 pounds really do add up, and it's really tough. And it's really tough. And the thing that I got out of making It's Huge, the documentary, was my compassion for how unfair and unkind people are towards people who are obese. And how people are judgmental. And it's really unfair because there's so many factors that go into this issue. But one thing we know for sure, it is super important that you consume the very best ingredients that you can. It is very important to consider food quality. It is very important to consider where are the things you're consuming coming from. So not only am I saying to you, let's consume only what we need, but look at where it's coming from. If you don't believe in the ideals of an organization, don't go there. If you know for a fact that a place treats their employees badly or imports and exports stuff and are unethical, then don't give them your money. Think of your money as a vote. Every time you go somewhere and every time you spend money, you are voting for that place, for that thing. So I strongly encourage you to really look at your life and look at your money and look at your energy and look at your time and look at how you're spending your life and ask yourself, is this worth it to me? If you are consuming something that you're literally going to piss away the next day, how much of that can you afford to do? How often can you afford to do that? So we're really looking to wake up from the haze of corporate advertising. We're looking to wake up from being sold a short, quick fix. We're looking at waking up, and I almost swore there because I'm so overwhelmed by this issue. I had no idea in the last, few decades of my life how bad this was getting. And I didn't want to be one of those people who was like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. But I also worked on another documentary called Terabyte where we looked at the technology and how people were disposing of computers and TVs and films and all electronics, computers and things like that. And we looked at the fact that the United States was selling its waste, its e-waste, to third world countries where children were going onto these mountains of technology waste with bare feet and breaking up computers to get copper wire from these computers and risking their lives. And when I worked on that documentary and when I saw what we were doing with our technology and when I saw how upgrading your TV to a bigger and better TV and upgrading your computer every year and all of these things were creating this huge landfill of waste in other parts of the world where the children are poor and they need money and they need food and they're putting themselves in danger of getting all kinds of diseases and poisonings, I, for one, was sickened, and it made me feel so sad that people don't understand this, that we are one planet, that we are one universe, that we are all in this together. And whether it's someone else's child in Ghana or my child, it doesn't matter. They're still our children. So I could go on about this. You've probably already gotten the picture. You probably get this. You're probably a good person. What we need here is for a lot of good people to really say, you know what? Enough. Literally, enough. We have enough. We are enough. None of the things that we're buying are going to solve the interior. This is an inside job. Happiness, joy, contentment, all an inside job. We don't need to be buried in a ton of stuff to feel better. We don't need to buy things to look better. Our beauty is something that comes from within and that shines outwards. And we need to prioritize what we consume, when we consume, and how we consume it, because we are powerful co-creators. And I invite you to join me in this mission, in this movement, to really wake people up to become conscious so that we can have a better world and leave a better world for our children and especially grandchildren. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's my pleasure to be with you. I challenge you to consume only what you need. Don't take more than you need. And I look forward to hearing how you're doing with this. Take care and thanks so much.